Good morning, everyone. Dr. Stephen Hobbs here from the International Mentoring Community, and this is the Mentoring Lounge about all things mentoring, brought to you by the International Mentoring Community. My co-host Doug will be joining us shortly. There's a little bit of technical difficulties on his end, but we have a full slate broadcast for you today. And we'll see how this unfolds for us. Just got a message from Doug. He's got some technical issues trying to get in, so we'll see what's going to transpire here. But today is very much an open mic approach, and what we've got is a number of different comments or questions that people have brought forward, and we thought that we would just cover off some of these. And we're going to see how this all takes place. And Doug's in. Hi, Doug.
How are you?
Oh, wait a minute, Doug. I got to plug myself in so I can actually hear you. I forgot that I'm running my mic off my one camera, but here we are. So you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, wonderful. As I was just mentioning to everyone, this is an open mic session, and we're going to just cover off a whole bunch of little bits and pieces along the way, answer some questions, bring you up to date with some comments that people have shared with us, and make a great announcement, I think, which will be of great value to everyone. And just for those who don't know, I'm the director of certification for the International Mentoring Community, and my co-host Doug. Your role?
I'm Director of Education and Outreach.
Yeah, and that keeps us both kind of on the busy side. And I would say, Doug, I think what we're doing is we're ramping up international mentoring community. Would you agree?
I would tend to think so.
Things are starting to happen, and I think that this is all great. And it's linked to a lot of the work that Doug's doing. I'm going to have him explain a little bit more about that because I'm going to ask him about his book update. And I'm just going to share a little bit about what's happening for me around the story of Mentor as well. So guess what? We're going to start with a book update, Doug. People don't know you've got a book out on Amazon.ca, Amazon.com, well, the Amazon family. And the name of that book is, and what's it about, and how is it linked to IMC?
So the book is titled You Are Not Alone. And it is about mentoring and mental health. So how mentoring can be part of the support structure for mental health, mental well-being. It is available on Amazon.ca and .com. And we launched on the 17th of January with it. And it's made Amazon #1 bestseller list.
Great. And how does it link to IMC? And I know you have your own company, Talent C Services, but how does it link to what we're talking about today, the IMC, the International Mentoring Community?
Well, certainly with IMC, one of the main parts is that in order to have mentoring as part of the mental health support structure, certification of mentors in that particular space is extremely important. It's so people can have those credentials to be able to work with people that are struggling with their mental health challenges. So that's the role that obviously that's part of it. The other part is the ongoing support that IMC provides to these initiatives and certainly to the promotion of the book itself.
And would you say that there's a great need for mentoring in the mental health sector?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I know I'm not attempting to be flippant, but I'm just attempting to emphasize the importance of what Doug has written about and what we're attempting to do through this mentoring initiative. So thank you for bearing with me there, Doug.
Not a problem.
So one of the other things that Doug does is answers what are called Quora questions. Do you want to just share what Quora is in case people don't know? And then what we'll do is hear the question and your response.
Sure. So Quora is an online site where individuals can post questions that they would like to have answered. So, as an example, I am going to be mentoring a junior project manager, for example. I can pose a question about what do I need to know ahead of time before sitting down with that individual and dealing with that. So that kind of gives you, kind of how the questions are structured, and they span across a number of portfolios. And what also happens is that if you start to respond back, it will send you email notifications advising of here's another question that may be in your wheelhouse to respond to. And what I like is they track the number of views of your responses, and then they put you in a category. So, like for myself, I consistently sit in the top 10 respondents when it comes to most of the mentoring questions.
Yeah, that's great. So today you are going to share with us what question and what was your response?
So the question I've got is, can you have a mentor that you have never met?
Okay, interesting. Go for it.
So my response was that you most definitely can. When I look at the people I'm working with in a mentor partnership, the majority I've never met before. They were introduced to me through referral or via my website, and then the scheduling of a time to chat. I've had some mentors that I've known before, and they became my mentor as they were able to provide guidance in an area that I needed guidance. For example, technology, finance, so on and so forth. And where I was going with that, I was taking myself back to when I first launched my company, and I created an advisory board of mentors, and each one came to the table with there was somebody who had chief financial officer experience. There was somebody who was good at marketing and selling and all that sort of stuff. So everybody brought something to the table, and that's what I was getting at with that particular comment.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of in alignment with a question that a chap by the name of Chip Conley, and he's written some books. He has what's called, or he's involved with what's called the Modern Elder Academy. There we go, MEA, and they're doing their own expansion. And today he put up on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I don't know, I'm paraphrasing it, is who is your best mentor? I think that's what he was asking. And I wrote my own response to that. And I'm going to ask you the same question in a second, right? You sort of hinted at it a little bit in your response to Quora, but maybe what we can do is get a little bit more personal. And I'll share mine. Mine is a Dr. Gerald Grant, who I met. And he gave me all the insights that I needed to really get started in the world of organization culture, which was really an assistance with workplace learning, workplace educating. And he gave me tools and techniques that I could access. Unfortunately, he's transitioned from our earth. He's out there playing with organization cultures, I'm sure, in the distant galaxy somewhere, and enjoying himself. And I thank him so much. It was just so wonderful and wonderful for him to give me those insights. And in particular, I just want to point out, you'll notice I said organization culture. A lot of times it's written as organizational culture. And what he imparted with me was organization was the act of organizing around the work that you're doing, which would then bring forth this sense of culture about human interactions that people would get involved with and the artifacts that resulted from them. So mentoring, for example, would be something that you could bring into that, and there would be artifacts in terms of the meetings and the knowledge sharing and skill sharing and all things that took place. And I also wanted to acknowledge that in that response, it led me to getting involved with Doug and the creation of the international mentoring community. So I wanted to acknowledge that storyline. And I think that Doug and I would probably both share is that we are mentor mentees to each other in terms of getting this up and going. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And Chip Conley from the Modern Elder Academy is the one who sparked that question, and it's certainly linked to your Quora. But as I mentioned, Doug, I'm going to ask you, was there a best mentor for you? And I should also add, I have had many mentors, four very particular. Doug is now my fifth, okay, as a business associate and partner in the IMC. So your best or someone, it's best, still doesn't sort of land completely with me, and I think we both agree, but who's someone you would like to highlight at this point in time as a mentor?
Well, you picked one out of the basket already for me, which was yourself, because that was definitely one that I had at the top of my list. And then from there, it's a challenge to be able to say who actually, because I think of my, God rest his soul, my uncle who was in the Canadian Air Force. And I always looked up to him right from when I was just a little whippersnapper. I always looked up to him for his wisdom, his knowledge, how he dealt with people, how he was a family man, and all the different attributes. And so he would definitely be at the very top of that list as well. And then in addition to that, I've been truly blessed. I've had so many people touch my life over the course of the years and each one brought just that little nugget of wisdom and guidance. And sometimes, as much as we don't acknowledge them, but I also learned from some what I didn't want to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
So all of that. So to be able to specifically answer your question and give you one name, I'd be doing a disservice to a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, and I sort of picked that up, and when I looked at the question, I also put a little phrase. I've had many mentors, but in response to your question, I'll share, and that's how I did it. I agree with you, right? All mentors are great, and we thank them along the way. So I believe, and I'm not going to speak for you, Doug, but I'm going to say I certainly encourage you, if you've not experienced a mentor, find a mentor.
Yeah.
And if you've had a mentor, go get another one. And if it means getting a couple of them, get a couple of them. I believe that it's really an important element of your life. And I think that actually is a great segue into, someone asked me the other day, I think this was, what are we, Wednesday? I think it was Monday. Someone reached out to me and said, how do you mentor? And I went, okay, here we go. We got a really big question here. And I came up with I'll call it a little bit of a quicker response. And this is not to do service to the full extent of what is how to mentor. And again, I'm going to ask you to add to it when once I've shared here a little bit with you, with everyone, Doug. So just give you a fair warning. But how to mentor, the how question, right, versus why mentor, who am I to mentor? Like, these are all great questions. But the how to mentor, what I did was I poked into the world of 4 key words that I just want to share with you today, okay? And again, I just got to do a little adjustment to my sun's just starting to hit the window again. The 4 key words that I just want to share with you, and I'll link them back to the importance of mentoring here. How to mentor. One is from a place of wisdom, okay? And if you have this sense of wisdom that is born of your lived experience, which is in our definition, very much in our way of looking at mentoring. Then you have the ability to tap into concepts and practices that you can share with someone based on the questions that they're asking of you. And that's how you mentor. That's a very simple way of getting into it. And I would like to add that is not age specific. That is not just someone who is older. There are people who could be younger than you who could serve as a wonderful mentor to you as well. The next word that came in is the word of caring. Is that how you mentor is from a place of caring. And caring has a sense of kindness to it, coming from a place of, yes, I care enough about you, I care enough about myself that I'm willing to sit down and share these concepts and practices with you. And that was another word. Now, there are people who use words like compassion and empathy. I still lean into the word caring. It still brings out what's important. I actually have another word which is called significant caring. And guess what? That was actually one of the words from the chap that I mentioned who mentored me, Dr. Grant. That was one of his terms. And I thought it's appropriate to mention that again. The third word that I would bring into today is humbleness. Is one of the things from a mentoring point of view, if you're coming at this from, I'm going to chuff myself up, I'm going to get my peacock feathers out there, and I'm going to be here for that person, I think if you back that sense off and come from a place of humbleness, is that, yes, you've got this wisdom and you care, but you're doing it more from a place of humbleness and a little bit more of a quietness approach to things, so that a person actually gets a sense of who you really are, like words like authenticity. Okay, I get that. But from a place of humbleness. And I know that there's something called appreciative inquiry, problem inquiry, and there's something called humble inquiry. And Carl Weick, Weick, spoke about this, and I would encourage you to go look. I'll put something in the show more notes that links to it. But this notion of humbleness, right? And for me, it's a bit more of a quietness, sitting there and being ready to answer those questions, not trying to force my ideas out in there. And the fourth word that I would bring forward is the sense of calmness. I think that's the quietness, the calmness. I was on a call this morning, a pair who are getting up a course to get it out for the world. And I realized that because I was going into today's mentoring lounge, I made sure that I was really calm for some reason. I'm not sure. It's just, I just felt this calmness ooze over me. And I really just listened, and they were just sharing their models and templates and all that. And I was just being a lot more calm and listening to what was going on. So I wanted to add that to the list today. And that calmness gives me access to my openness, all right, through my listening. And so those are four words about how to mentor that I wanted to share today. Obviously about answering the questions the mentee, protege, learner is asking you, and doing it from a place of wisdom, caring, humbleness, and calmness. So guess what, Doug? I'm going to ask you anything you would want to add to that.
Yes, certainly from the calmness perspective, I like to always think of it from the ability to create a safe place for a conversation to take place. So the two go hand in hand. I think that if I'm relatively calm about my conversations and that with somebody, they're going to feel safe. And I've actually had that happen where I've had an individual who just listened to me share my lived experience for 45 minutes. And then at the end, when I said, what was the value you got from our conversation? Because you didn't say anything. It was the aspect of I could see myself in your stories, but I also felt calm in your presence. And that calmness helped me pull in that lived experience that you were sharing with me. So that's one. The other one that I had that as you were going through was trust. I need to be able to build a level of trust with the person that I'm working with in a mentoring arrangement in order for them to, number one, feel safe, but also to open the doors to the learning and development that can take place for both the mentor and the mentee. So trust is definitely another one. And then finally, the other one, albeit not the end of the extensive list, but is relationships. And the two, relationship and trust, go hand in hand, is that if I am not able to build a trusting relationship with my mentee, chances are the arrangement or the relationship is going to crumble and fall. And so as we move forward, we need to, to be able to kind of focus on creating that safe place through the development of trusting relationships. And by that, we're going to be able to create that deeper, richer mentoring experience.
Okay, so how to mentor folks. I think what we're sharing is wisdom, caring, humbleness, calmness, trust, and relationships. That's a good start. And I think if you tap into more of the videos that are on the YouTube channel, or if you're watching via Facebook, we post up material there every week. And you can certainly join us at the International Mentoring Community on Facebook. And it is called International Mentoring Community on YouTube. There is another one by the similar name, but you'll notice us by the logo that you see on the screen at the moment, the circle with the International Mentoring Community on it, with groups of people, all right, that's there. So I have a question for you, Doug. Okay. And folks, I didn't prompt them. I'm just going to ask them. Okay. When you mentor, and I'm not so much from a how-to perspective, when you mentor, I'm thinking about what is the element, okay, the embracing factor, okay, that influences your mentoring practice?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that for a minute. So define element.
Well, I sort of think of element, the notion of air, water, fire, earth. These are elements, of what we associate that's around us, rather than the step by step by step by step kind of idea. It's sort of what surrounds you, the ether, some people might see the spiritual component of that. Does that help out a little bit?
It does, because for me, and even more so now with the whole mental health space that I'm involved in, it's the being able to feed off of or understand and interpret the energy that a person has and gives off when you're meeting with them. So, because what I find is that a lot of times in mentoring relationships in the past, certainly with my practice in the past, was that I wasn't paying much attention to any of that. And now what I've found is by doing that, by actually paying attention, I'm in a better place, because I'm picking up on, my intuition is picking up on different things that I wasn't. I know I wasn't. And so, it would be that part. The spiritual aspect as well that you mentioned, I'm finding that I'm engaging in that even more than I ever have before, just because I think we need all the support we can get. And if it means tapping into our spiritual side of our life, of who we are as a person, then I think that that's something that we need to do. And as mentors, we need to be very cognizant of that. And when do I make that shift?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. And again, folks, I just want you to know that I did not prep, all right, Doug, or anything, because I just wanted to see what the response would be. So thanks for doing that, Doug. So I think another thing that might be worth an announcement. Well, there's two announcements today. Let me go through the first one. Doug and I are actually going to be going through a content review of the profile for the Certificate of Competence Mentor. Every 2 years, we go through it and make sure that it's up to date. Is there anything that sort of feels as though it's missing? In other words, we're going to add, alter, delete. Maybe the wording has gotten in, some of the wording has gotten in the way over time, and we are just going to be going through that. Now, that just means it keeps it fresh, and it keeps it pertinent to what it is that we're doing. And guess what, Doug? I always forget the exact number of action outcome statements, which is what we're going through. I got 72 in my head, but
Yeah, that's
I think
right.
it's 72, yeah. So we'll be going through those, and we could end up with 71, 70. We could have 73, 74. And I think this is just to go through it. And then we're going to be reaching out into the community and having people go through the profile as well, just so that we start to really get this community up and operating. So that's just one of our announcements. February every 2 years, it's something we do. So we're getting together here, and we're going to make that happen. So is there any announcements on your part? Because I know there's one about our March 2nd, isn't it? Yeah, it's March 2nd announcement that I want to make. I put a piece of paper up here to remind me. So is there anything that you want to go over or ask or any update people about?
The only thing that I would update people is that, it's a good time. This time of the year it's a good time to start to do a little reading. And so I happen to know of a great book that you could acquire and read. And the book is entitled "You Are Not Alone." And so I encourage everybody to, if you haven't got your copy, please get out there and grab a copy, whether it's the Kindle version or the paperback. And the feedback that I've been getting from people, and I've gotten a lot of reviews from people, from readers in the United States, has been it's been very rewarding for me. So I want to be able to pass that on to you if you're listening today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I guess the other announcement that Doug and I want to bring forward is that on March the 2nd, we're going to be doing a live 2-hour workshop on the definition, what is coaching and mentoring, what's their connection, what's their competition, what's their collaboration, so that we can probably dispel some myths. There's people who will still come to us and say, well, they're both the same thing. No. Well, coaching is better than mentoring. Nope. Mentoring is better than coaching. Nope. We are going to be taking a look at this, and we're going to be doing it via Zoom and on the internationalmentoringcommunity.com website. On the homepage will be a link where you can register for it. It will be going up probably by tomorrow, if all goes according to plan, certainly by Friday. And you can join us. It's a couple of weeks out, well, about 3 weeks or so out from now. And we really would appreciate you coming in. It's similar to like the YouTube channel or even Facebook, is, subscribe, like, comment, share, all those kind of things, ring bells, just so that you can get notifications of things. We so appreciate when people get involved, come in, ask questions. And you can do it through the privacy of the comment section. You can send things ahead of time. There's lots of ways in which you can interact with what we're doing. But it's March the 2nd. It's a live Zoom call about coaching and mentoring. And it's free. If I didn't say that, let me emphasize it. It's for free. We're not charging for this one. And it's just to bring value to the international mentoring community. And Doug and I are just going to go over what's coaching and mentoring. And Doug, I just want to share with you is that I've been doing some research around the SEO use of words. And it's interesting is that there are more hits, right? More people looking for the combination of coaching and mentoring versus mentoring and coaching. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And I think it might be something I'm going to dive into a little bit more, see why that might be happening, and bring that out in the course. And again, just to remind you, if you have questions about that, or you may have a comment that you want to add in, then please let us know. And one of the great ways is to go through the contact form on internationalmentoringcommunity.com. Use the contact form, and that's up there readily to go, for you on the navigation bar. Or use the show more notes around this video on YouTube. We'll certainly get to things. Is there anything you want to add about that March 2nd event around coaching and mentoring?
No, but no.
Okay. So I think that sort of covers off. Is there anything? I'm just looking at our list because this is sort of an open mic day for today, and to see if there was anything else we would want to add. I don't see anything at this point in time. So, as I always do on our Mentoring Lounge show, Doug, you get the last comments, the last insight. What is it that you picked up from today or from elsewhere that you want to share as our closing out?
Well, definitely there is a strong surge of movement going forward for mentoring. And I'm getting lots of inquiries into it. I'm, with the work I've been doing with ACP, American Corporate Partners in the United States, and with the work I've been doing with the Branson program as well, and a number of
Actually,
other.
just before, I'm going to interrupt you because I'm not sure that you've ever shared what are those two organizations. Can you just do a little bit there?
Yeah, so ACP, or American Corporate Partner, is an organization that is set up in the United States to help military personnel transition from service life to civilian life. And part of their process that they have is that every service person that subscribes to their service gets access to a mentor for, I believe it's 1 year. And the mentor is there to fulfill a number of things, a couple of which are helping them with their job hunt. So not doing the job hunting, but making sure resume, cover letter, and that they've got access to those resources if they need. But more so from the aspect of being somebody that they can talk to, somebody that will listen and hear and be non-judgmental. There are, in a lot of cases, there are situations or issues with mental health that you may need to make sure they're plugged into professional help, which the U.S. Military Veteran Affairs Program does provide for counseling and that for them. So there's that part. So ACP, I've been working with them now for probably 3 to 4 years, I guess it is now. And I've had, just as many proteges or mentees in that time period. So the other one is the Sir Richard Branson Entrepreneur Program in the Caribbean. And what that is Sir Branson has set up a program to help entrepreneurs in the Caribbean, so in the Jamaica and all that area, to be able to help them take a business idea and turn it into a viable operating business. And so I've worked with them for a few years now. I'm right now working with a lady that has her own information technology service company, and we've gone beyond the time frame that was required for us to provide mentoring, but she's asked us, and we've agreed. There's a couple of us mentors that we've just stayed with her, and we sort of said that, going forward, we're here. If you need us, set up a time for a meeting and we'll all come together. But she's seen the value in what we bring to the table as mentors, and has asked us if we would continue on despite the fact the program is kind of officially closed. So,
well, thanks for doing that, because we sometimes use an acronym where we make reference to something. I thought it would be just great to just stop and explain. So thank you for letting me interrupt you. But you were talking about the surge of mentoring.
Yeah, so just that in sort of as a topic or a food for thought is for those of us out there that have always wondered about, is mentoring really for me and all that sort of stuff. There is a surge moving right now. Like, I'm getting lots of inquiries from people, coming and asking about, setting up a mentoring program. How do I find mentors? How do I get certified? What's the process for going through that? And interestingly enough, what I'm finding is that what's missing is the certification piece. And that's the part that people are now sort of kind of the light bulb or the epiphany is, I should get certified as a mentor. So anyhow, that's kind of why I had said that there was this surge, because I am starting to get more and more calls, and I'm starting to see, I think that the mental health space is going to just blow up on us here, where we're going to find that there'll be more and more opportunities for mentors to be able to help those that are struggling with mental health.
For sure, for sure. I realized I didn't mention about my elder mentor program. We're going to catch that on the next show. Okay. So thanks for that, Doug, and appreciate you bringing that to our awareness. And I think that gets us to a close. So I'm going to wish you a great day, Doug. So we'll see you later. And
Great.
To all the audience, have a great day. Have a great week. And again, oh, yes. All right. On the first and third, but actually, you know what? Doug and I agreed that what we're going to do is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain, we are going to do a live show. Now, if Doug can't be there, we'll still do it. If I can't be there, Doug's going to do it. So we're going to do this live now, and sort of somewhere between 30, 40 minutes, somewhere in there, just to sort of cover off topics and answer questions and all that. So again, whoops, forgot to make that announcement. So Doug, you didn't quite get the last words, but what I'll do then is you do get the last word now, and then we're going to close off. So thoughts?
Well, yeah, all I can say is happy mentoring. And if you've ever wanted to go down this path as a mentor, now's the time to do it.
Take care, everyone.